Hello, everyone, and welcome to TFYLP, Transformers for Your Listening Pleasure, episode number 322, recorded March, I said March this time, 9th, 2019. I'm your host, Ron Land, a.k.a. Weird Wolf. Along with me this evening is Lucas Bockelman.
Hey.
Paul Fremel.
Howdy ho.
And Sean McGinnis.
Hey, guys.
All right. Let me make sure everything is going here. Okay. And make sure I got the chat on the proper stuff. Yep. Okay. We are live on both YouTube and Facebook, and as you can see, if you have any comments or questions during the broadcast, you can post them on YouTube or Facebook, our Facebook page in the comment section of the video, and they will show up here in the live video stream, and we can mention them if they're applicable to what we're talking about, and you can interact and carry along with us as we go on throughout the show. As always, Capture Prey is our sponsor. Great toys, great prices, great service. CapturePrey.com, where you can save even more with free domestic shipping on orders of $150 or more. And now you have the benefit of Stasis Pod, where you can order now and ship later and save. It's CapturePrey.com. And as always, if you love what we do on TFYLP, you can go up to the Patreon link at patreon.com/TFYLP and become a monthly subscriber through Patreon and help us continue, because quite frankly, without you guys who are patrons of TFYLP, we would not be able to be here at all right now as a podcast. So thank you to each and everybody who continues supporting us through Patreon. And if you are a Patreon, then you know that we have got a new show that, well, it's not new. We started it last year as kind of added extra onto TFYLP. We did a few episodes last year, and then I kind of it wasn't rebranded. It was still the same thing. It's TFYLP After Hours, but we've moved it over to Patreon to make it a Patreon exclusive. So it's kind of the same, it's a podcast like this. You watch us, and everything, but it's not live. We talk about Transformers. We talk about whatever's on our minds. Give little tours of our toy room, and it's more laid back and just off the cuff, even more so than the podcast itself.
It's casual.
Very casual. Shoot, we might even be drinking booze. Wait a minute. Rick does that already during the show. But anyway. And I didn't change the name of the episode on the thing here. Shame on me.
Man.
Let me fix that.
Yeah, at least it's the proper month this time.
Yeah. Well, whenever you're up at 3:30 in the morning to go to work on the broadcast day, and then you come in and you sit down and get everything ready, and you're like, so
now don't forget to set your clock forward tonight, Duran.
Yeah, well, that's a great thing, because with my work schedule, I work 2 days and 2 nights, so I've already completed my 2 days, so I don't have to set an alarm for tomorrow, because I work night shift tomorrow night and night shift Monday night. So the time shift won't screw with me that much. I mean, it'll still screw with me, but as such. Let's get on with our Ouch My Wallet, because I'll go last, because I think it will kind of segue us into our topic tonight. And well, I'll show it whenever we get there. But who wants to go first with Ouch My Wallet? Lucas, did you say you?
So this may take a while. I've had some things drop here before my vacation. So first off, I got this little guy here. This is the New Age Harry, which is their version of Prowl. It's a little Legends Prowl.
His name is Harry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
It's funny.
like Dirty Harry.
Ah, yes.
Not Hairy.
Yeah, he's quite hairless.
Yeah. So, and he is a tiny little figure there. And then I got a large bird in
Big bird.
from Big Bird here. So
I am so jelly.
he's pretty nice.
Now, I do have a question about him. Is the same issues that Bobby Skullface had with him, with the like the neck not holding up and everything? Are the joints as bad on yours?
No, he tabs in fine into the sides, and then the neck. So the neck is fine. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's like super tight or anything, but yeah, it holds completely fine on my copy. So I'm pretty happy about that because I saw all the issues and I was really dreading, opening this guy up and having a droopy neck. But I know the designer of the toy said essentially that there's little screw covers. So if you like drill into the side of the neck, I guess you can retighten the screws if your neck is loose. I guess that's the fix.
Drill
Which is not
into it?
Yeah.
No.
That's the fix that they're giving people. I'm not saying it's an ideal solution. So luckily I don't have to do that with this guy. But yeah, he is a huge, just massive figure. And I know some people were complaining he wasn't big enough, but I don't know how you can get him much bigger. And I mean, this is just the top part, so it's.
So did that come in one box, or does the Lynx part come separately? Is it like two separate releases?
It was two separate releases. So the Lynx was released, I think, in October, and then this one is released now. So that that way, it's kind of like making payment plans on your third party here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I really want him because Skylynx is one of my favorite characters, but there's something about it that has made me hold off on it. And watching Bobby Skullface's review and his issues with it kind of solidified it. It's like it's great in Skylynx mode, non-spectacular in that mode, and I don't know. And the panels falling off too, just kind of turned me off. But
yeah, I mean, I think it's cool, but the aesthetic's probably not for everyone. And I guarantee you, there's going to be somebody else that makes a Skylynx. So it's I'm sure Fans Hobby or somebody. So it's if you wait another year or 2 years, whatever it is, there's going to be somebody that's going to give you another version if you don't like this one.
Patience, grasshopper.
Right. Exactly. So, and then with that, I got myself an upgrade kit. So I got Predaking finally got a sword, and some nicer wings. So I was excited about that.
And that's the Power of the Primes one?
This is the Power of the Primes. Yeah, I guess I should be actually saying what it is. This is the Power of the Primes from Hasbro, and then this is the DNA Designs upgrade kit for him, which comes with new wings, comes with new hands, comes with this big sword, comes with some pieces to fill out his abdomen. So yeah, it's a pretty neat, substantial kit for like $50.
I don't have any issues with Predaking, and I know I'm in a vast minority on this, but I really don't have any issues with the Predaking outside of the fact that I wished he had the spiked knuckles. I wished he had a big sword. The wings I'm fine with. That's a bit too big in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it is a little bit big.
Can he even?
Hey
hold it
Lucas,
up?
what's the retail on one of those?
This kit's $50.
There is There is an official sword, though, right? It's like a Chinese exclusive thing that's what's coming out or something. It hasn't released yet, but there is like an accessory coming in Asia or something. But I guess I would agree with you, Durant. Like the thing that's really missing on that this is kind of unacceptable is the hands. It just needs to. It needs those spikes.
The spike knuckles. Yeah, it needs the spike knuckles. I wished he had a sword. That, like I said, is a bit too. Can he even hold that up? Really?
Yeah. See, look, so they actually, it actually comes with stronger ratchets, so that he can hold the sword better. But the particular copy I have, the ratchets are actually pretty good. So I have not actually done that surgery yet on my guy, but yeah, he's able to hold the sword. So yeah, but no, I could see my kids actually like taking the sword and sword fighting with it. It's so big,
and accidentally stabbing somebody with it because it's so freaking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the size of a kitchen knife here.
Yeah, it is. It is quite large. And then Thursday night, I just happened to stop by a Walmart or two.
And make me really jealous.
And so I got myself some new
Walmart
figures.
or two. How many Walmarts did you have to stop by to get all?
It takes two at least to get the Voyagers and Deluxes.
So the Deluxes, I stopped in to a Walmart and saw all the Deluxes, got all those. Like must have just put them out.
Was it just like one case of them?
The one I was at actually had 2 cases.
Oh, okay.
Of Deluxes. So I got all those guys. I have not opened up. Which guy is this again? I can't remember. 6 Gun. I haven't opened 6 Gun yet, and I have not opened the Chromia yet. So, but yeah. So check your WalMarts if you haven't already. But yeah. So then
I find that Instagram is good for like seeing which area Walmarts
Do
are
you
showing
guys
up
have to
in.
yell like right now?
People, if someone finds them, they're like, "Hey, look, I found them!" And sometimes they'll put the location of like which Walmart they're in, so you can see it on a map. So if it's like near your area, to go looking. Because BrickSeek has been very unreliable the past like 6-7 months.
Yeah. It'll say out of stock, but actually it's sitting there on the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with BrickSeek, because I mean it used to be great, and that's like kind of how I was, looking for stuff that was not released yet, or that was just releasing. But yeah,
I think the stores are probably trying to thwart that a bit, so it's probably not working as well as it used to.
They're getting tired.
If they just put the stuff out on the shelf, they wouldn't have a problem.
Right.
Just saying.
I'd say the problem with that is that a lot they might be getting tired of people finding something on BrickSeek or seeing that BrickSeek saying their store has it, and then people go to the store, it's not on the shelf, and they ask employees, "Can you go to the back and get it?" Which they don't like doing. I haven't been to a store yet that enjoys going to the back and searching for crap. I mean, in the history of collecting, I've never seen that.
I find that is totally dependent on how new the employee is.
Yeah.
So around the holiday time, I had a couple people, I had like some kids that were like they had literally just hired. I'm like, "Hey, can you go in the back and get these?" And he's like, "Yeah, it sounds great." Like, and he went back and got it for me and brought it right out. And I'm like, "I will take the entire case. Thank you very much." But then if you get like a department manager or something, yeah, they're definitely not going to do that for you.
Yeah, there's definitely a finesse to seeking your prey as far as finding someone who to ask to go in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I remember back whenever the toy hunts were the thing before. I'll just order it online and not worry about it. Toy hunting, lost art. But
we used to do live ones.
Maybe we get somebody to volunteer to do it again or something. But anyway,
Yeah, I'm looking for 38 Studio Series Optimus. I'm gonna jump in the car and go.
but you know, I remember whenever the thrill of the hunt. You know, you go into the store and everything, and inevitably you find like evidence of a case assortment on the shelf. You know, it's like there's one that you know is in a case with something else that you want. So inevitably you ask, "Hey, do you happen to have another case in the bag?" You know, and sometimes you'd win, sometimes you'd lose, but people just don't do that anymore. I mean,
Yeah. I saw a Rampage on the shelf, and I know Optimus was there in Lee Summit, but no mo.
He gone.
Yeah, and so I went around. So after I found those deluxe figures at the first Walmart, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try and see if the Voyagers are anywhere. So I went to, I don't know, 7 Walmarts. We've got a lot of
live.
That's just like not even that far away. I mean, they're all like 15 minutes around each other, but in my area, there's a lot of Walmarts and Targets and all that, so I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah, on Tuesday I decided I would go out of my way and try to find Walmarts because there's really not a Walmart in Chicago, not like a decent one. They're all like mini. They're just crappy. So you got to go out to like the suburbs or the boonies. So I took like a 3-hour journey to just try to find those Voyagers, and I struck out literally everywhere. It sucked. It was just a huge waste of time. So good for you. Mm-hmm. Happy for you. Happy someone had some luck.
Yeah, really. So is that all you picked up?
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got. So, but yeah, then I messaged Sean. So, in case you're not aware, Sean and I live he lives across town from me at the moment. So I messaged him for now, and I said, hey, Sean, I just happened to pick up the deluxes and the Voyagers, and he's like, oh man, how come you pick them up for me? But at the time I was doing it, it was late at night, so I didn't want to bug him. And so then I guess
you should have bugged me.
You still found yours, right? Or did you not?
I did.
It's like, lest we forget the story of my Armada Unicron back whenever they first came out. I literally drove 90 miles in one direction to buy my Armada Unicron. It's like,
was it worth it?
At the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
actually,
that's a cool figure for years.
It wasn't
years.
one direction. It was kind of a roundabout way, but it was like 90 miles. As the crow flies, you're probably looking at maybe 60, but there was a detour involved in that included or that involved me being pissed off really, really badly. Yeah.
All right, now you got to tell us.
Yeah. Oh, you'll have to go back in the annals of history and the episode of. And Paul was muted, so he couldn't.
Oh, you said annals. Okay.
I was just saying that at the time that would have been worth the trip to go find that toy. I remember hunting for that for like a month, and then it ended up being at the Target down the street from my house one day.
Well, I'll make the long story short. This is back whenever you go online. You could go on to like TFW and the sightings forum. Each state's got one, and somebody had said that they had spotted a Unicron, case or some Armada Unicrons on the shelf at Walmart, one of the Walmarts in Lexington, Kentucky. So I hop in the car, drive to Lexington. They don't have any there. It was I don't know if the guy was just fibbing or they only had like 2 on the shelf and he bought them both. I don't know. So I drove back home and called the store that was like south of us. They said they didn't have any, so I didn't even bother going there. Then I called the store in the town that I worked out of, and they said, yes, we have them. So I go there and they didn't have it. They just basically said, "Oh well, we figured you'd find something else in here that you want instead." I'm like,
What kind of
Oh, the
answer
old
is that?
switcheroo.
I'm like, and I went off and I explained to them, look, you said I came for this specific item. You said you had it. You lied to me. Help me find it. So I was talking to a manager at that point. The manager called some of the stores around there and told me that another store about 30 miles away had them, and for sure, and they had like 4 in stock. So I called Insane Galvatron, and he lived closer to that store than I did. He ran down there and grabbed himself one, and I got there. I arrived at that store about 1:30 in the morning. And, and I walked in there, snatched it up, and got it. Yeah. Good times. Those times are gone. It just doesn't happen anymore. But, Sean.
Yeah, not.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Oh, I
Lucas.
was gonna say now you can just go online and order it off Amazon, 2-day shipping, and there you are.
Yeah. Sean, what made your wallet say, ow?
It said meow. I got this crotchety old grumpy guy, Jetfire from the Studio Series line.
What's his underkibble look like?
It's actually not too shabby.
Better.
I mean, obviously, you can see his head there, but you can't see his face. But it's as far as a jet former goes, it's pretty sleek, and I like the SR-71s. So I had to.
That's my favorite plane. So
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, they're amazing planes. Look it up on YouTube and watch a couple videos if you guys don't really know. But
I actually worked with a guy at one of my first jobs whenever I first got married years and years ago. Whenever he was in the Air Force, that was one of his jobs, was a refueler for the SR-71.
Wow.
And he said, you talk about a beautiful plane.
mm-hmm.
But they leak like a sieve when they're on the ground. Once they shrink,
they're built to. Yep, they're built for that metal to expand and get hot, and then everything seals up, and it's off to the races it goes.
He said the time he did that, he said the hangar where the SR-71s were parked basically was covered with pig mat in large areas.
Yep. For the viewing audience, I cannot get the legs to tab in quite right back here. So if anybody knows what I'm doing wrong, it's like the hips don't want to stay tabbed in underneath the front part of the wing. And then I don't know what this is. I haven't looked at the instructions yet.
That's for the combined mode.
Oh well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I just opened this. I opened this 32 Optimus today just to put that together.
Yeah.
So I still need to do it.
How's the PC on your version, Paul? Because mine's not all that great.
On this,
I
just opened it.
That's a 32 Optimus.
Yeah.
And my only problem with him is like the sleeper cab portion that swings around at one of the sides like to not stay on very well, but other than that, mine's good.
Kind of like this guy doesn't like to even stay in car mode. He just wants to explode from the inside out.
I never had a problem with him.
I mean,
are you sure you're transforming the feet right for car mode?
No.
Okay.
Because the instructions are very poor as always. But
you need to get that Clunker Bumblebee. You'll be happy with that one.
Clunker Bumblebee's great.
If I get that mold again, I'm doing it exactly like Diecast did, and I'm going to take it out back and burn it.
Well, yeah, but this one has a pin.
Yeah.
The magic pin. The first one was missing.
I also got Megatron from the same wave. Haven't transformed him yet. It took me all pre-show to transform that Jetfire, and even before that, because I was working on those legs.
It's leg day.
And I'm surprised that Igor that comes with that Studio Series Megatron is so posable. Like, I did not realize he actually had posability.
I would have got
So
that
that'll be
out,
fun.
and I'm like, what the hell is this thing?
Yeah, thanks to Lucas for telling me about the Siege guys, because I found the Voyagers at my local Walmart, well, somewhat local Walmart, and the Deluxes at the neighboring Walmart. So it took 2 Walmarts to get them, but here they are. Yeah, they're excellent. How's your fold-up chicken for his chest, Lucas?
The what now? Which guy?
His fold-up chicken for the chest, the 8-track.
Oh, this guy, the little laser beak.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good. He's pretty fantastic.
Well, where'd you get that little laser beak from? Because he's not on shelf, is he?
He's on. I got him online at Chosen Prime.
Oh, okay. I got some stuff from TCP also. I'm falling into the Legends black hole. I got
Anno would be proud.
Flipper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I haven't opened Flipper yet. I'm excited to. They just came in today.
Was
And
that
then I
hubcap?
got-
Flipper?
No, this
that's
is
not Bumblebee.
Just Bumblebee?
Bumblebee. It's the little tiny Bumblebee from New Age. I got the New Age Prowl. Harry. It's a Razor Harry. I've got the battle damage version of the Toy World Wheeljack.
Now, is that legend scale too, or?
This is also legend scale, yes.
Ooh.
This is how big he is compared to the
jeez.
leader class, I guess.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean he's Igor could put up a pretty good fight with him. But yeah, I mean like the weathering effect's really cool, and he looks dirty, and I love this. I actually love like the Lancia car, and Rally is awesome. So I definitely had to get the dirty version.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I was just cruising through the store and I saw that. I'm like,
Here's,
I gotta get that.
Tarn.
Yep, I got the Iron Factory Tarn. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name because it looks like Dubhe. Dubhe. I haven't opened him yet either.
No,
he just came in
it's
today.
Doobie.
Doobie.
Yeah.
So-
hey, Sean, be careful when you transform him because I heard that one of the parts is a little bit finicky
Oh, not
break.
his helmet, right?
on his chest. Like
On his
the little
chest.
connector, the connector on the chest.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, but I mean, he looks really cool. He's like a downscaled
yeah, it
version
looks
of the
great.
MMC, and they combine. So I think I'm all in. I'll get the rest of them pre-ordered, and I'll get them all combined one day. To finish it off, to follow along with the rest of the members of the podcast, the Magic Square Optimus Prime. And he better be as good as Duran says, or else he is off the Christmas list. And you want to
Wait.
be on my Christmas list?
Yes, you do.
Wait, I wasn't on my Christmas list?
No. You were, but not now.
So why?
Well, you know what? That's premature. You're still on it. We'll see how he is. So, if he's good, then you're still on it. I got the deluxes. I'm not going to show them because they're all downstairs, and I think that's all. Yeah, that's all. Paul.
Yes.
Well, most of my stuff is from the land of the Far East. I did just receive this big blue
Ooh.
Legends EX.
oh, nice.
Haven't opened it yet because it is still in the box here.
I'm
But
still
it should-
debating on that or the regular big convoy color. I'd like to get that mold again, but
Well, I got that guy right here, so I'm going to put him right next to him. I mean, it's just really the difference here is he's really bright white and he's got yellow.
mhm.
So if you like it to be really, really colorful, then yeah, get this. But I think the blue one is so cool because it's like a lucky draw. If you liked the the green Unicron, then you'll love the blue.
I didn't care for the green Unicron.
Yeah, then maybe just go for the Encore, the regular one.
I have no idea why the Facebook Live comments are not working. People are commenting on it on Facebook, but they're not showing up on the video. Don't know why. Oh,
and then I got a nice this guy I just got from a friend in Japan. This is the Gold Lagoon Soundwave. Why they didn't use the Titan, or why they didn't use the Masterpiece version, I don't know. But this is basically like the Linkin Park Soundwave actually imagined correctly, or as imagined. I think this is the best looking of the gold.
Now, is that brown or gold plastic?
It's like an orange plastic. It's not gonna have gold plastic problems. It's basically orange, and then there's some parts that are then there's parts that are painted again, like a gold paint, as well as the chrome. So there's three things going on. There's orange plastic, gold paint, like metallic fleck paint, and then the chrome gold parts. And there is a gold Titan Master in here too.
Wow, that is cool.
Oh, wow.
Woo. And he's got all the same crap that the regular one does. Yeah, see, like this is painted gold. This whole thing. I don't know. It was probably orange as well, but so you have three different effects going on at once. Plus, there's still some clear parts.
I still want that MP10 like that, but
yeah, the MP10 doesn't look bad, and the Starscream's not bad. They're all pretty good, actually. I don't have the Legends guys because I don't collect those characters. But I have one more thing to show, and I'm really excited about this one. And I wasn't going to show it because I just... but here I go. This is Atmos LeBron Voy.
Oh.
He's already out?
I hate you.
He came
I
out
officially hate you now.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Look at that beautiful fleck, that deco. They call it this. It's like the Safari deco, which is like why it has that pattern. And
Can we call it a flecko?
Sure. So it has like LeBron James's I guess if he has a logo, it's like right where an Autobot symbol would be on Prime's right shoulder. The Autobot symbol is in black on his left. The Matrix looks really weird. It's like flesh. It's like yellow. Matrix does not look so good, actually.
I'm surprised they didn't make it look like a basketball.
I just wish it had a basketball accessory, because the photos I've seen where someone has like an accessory and it fits right in his hand, it looks so awesome. So I'm going to have to find one at some point. And if anyone has an idea on what is the best basketball accessory for a MP10 size figure, I would love to hear it. If you can leave a comment. One little thing to notice is like there is some different, like this, it's not symmetrical. The paint scheme isn't symmetrical. This side is yellow here, and this side is green, and it's the same thing on his feet. So that's not a flaw. That's actually how it's supposed to be.
Why?
It's like that toe is green, and this one is like yellow. It has to do with the shoe, because it's supposed to match the shoe deco. So the way this was released was like raffle only by waiting outside at a Atmos Japan store, which is like some clothing, sneakerhead store, and they sell limited edition versions of shoes. So they released this LeBron James Safari Deco Nike shoe, and then they released this toy along with it. And apparently, even if you were waiting outside of the store to get it, you would not be guaranteed one, because it was a raffle. So if like 200 people were there, they might have only had 100 figures. So
how did you get one?
I have a few ways, but I know some sellers that like personal people I've bought stuff from in the past, and I basically do a group buy for some other friends, and he has a bunch of minions that go out and try to get them, and so I was able to, he charges a markup, but it's reasonable. I also ordered one from Yahoo Japan. It just hasn't arrived yet. So, because I wanted a sealed one, because I have like a mint sealed box Masterpiece collection, so I'm crazy. I'm one of those crazy people. anyways, really excited about that toy, and we know there's more
right up
coming.
there with Peter in the bin life.
Yeah.
Me and Peter are kindred spirits. But there's going to be more of these Atmos crazy MP10 decos as we saw at Wonderfest, but there's not really a lot of information on them. I think what happened is they did a vote on those 3 really crazy decos that maybe you saw at the Wonderfest coverage. It was like a black one, a green and orange one, and the one other one I can't really remember. But there was a vote, and I think the black one won. So I don't know if that means we're going to get the black one and not the others, or what. But this one wasn't even on display at Wonderfest, so it's just I have no idea what's coming in. There's also supposed to be a Ghostbusters one.
Oh, I may have to get that one.
Damn it.
My hunch, and I don't have any. I'm just totally guessing. I think it'll be out at. I don't think it'll be a San Diego thing. My guess, because
Ghostbusters MP10.
It just seems like it'll match the timing of the comics that are coming out. It'll be in the summer, and
Plus, we got the Ecto 1 coming out.
Yeah,
and they're hiding that Optimus MP10 like part of the there's like that big spread of the comic book covers, and they're like covering up the part where it's Optimus because they don't think they want to give it away. And I'm like, why wouldn't they just give it away? Oh, because maybe it's a reveal for San Diego. It's a guess.
Speaking of comics, I finished the IDW run of Transformers recently, and I went looking on the app to see what the new Transformers comics are that's out, and I couldn't find any. Does anybody know whenever the new comics are going to be hitting, or what the deal with the new Transformers IDW is?
The new Transformers comic is actually hitting this week on the 13th, so this Wednesday. Is what they said according to the solicitations. But they're completely redoing it. There's actually a good article up on where was it? IGN. There's an article up on IGN. I think we shared it with the TF Talk page, but if you go out there and read that, they kind of give you some background as far as what the new comic is. They're taking it back to where it was Orion Pax and all that before the war and everything, kind of starting from that point, and then going forward with that. So they're pretty much just resetting the whole timeline.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I haven't been able to keep up on the news lately. I've been really busy, so thank you.
Yep, no problem. Paul, I wanted to ask
Sorry, Paul.
That's okay.
I just wanted to ask you, how many MP10 variants are there? Do you know?
I'd have to, do the finger count real quick, but I think there's more than 10.
And so with that, which one's your favorite?
Oh, the Evangelion one for sure. It's awesome. I have it back there. It's only one I still keep on display that hasn't been binned up.
Is that the blue and green one?
It's the purple and green. It looks like Unit 01 from. I'm pretty horse blinders on for Transformers, but I do have a soft spot for a few other stories, and Ava is one of them. So I was really excited about that. I was really bummed out that the Starscream Angel, the bad guy Starscream, there was a third-party company that was going to make a deco that looked like that to fight Ava Prime, but no one else was interested in it, so that didn't get made. I was pretty bummed.
Well, I guess we'll go into My House, My Wallet, which is it's kind of anticlimactic because I really haven't had time to enjoy them to their fullest. But my Toy World Constructor adventure has finished. I got the Long Haul and the Scavenger out of the set, but even though I've had them a couple days now, I have yet to combine them into Constructor. I just haven't had time.
How big is that going to be? Is it going to be as big as that Omega Supreme behind you, or is it bigger?
Yeah, roughly.
Wow.
Yeah, he's roughly.
Is he Gabriel size?
I believe
guess,
so. It's
yeah.
about the same size. Yeah.
Yeah, he's roughly 2 feet tall. So I mean, and this is one of the things I like about it too is this is his head, and he's got this feature. You know, that's pretty awesome. The light up eyes, and then
I remember you comparing his forearm with your forearm.
well, I mean, this is my hand, and this is his hand. So
It's like a baby's arm.
It's like a child's hand. Yeah, it's like
use my strong hand.
Yeah, amazing.
Is there anything you didn't make by hand? This pie.
So
You can be one.
What? So,
I was gonna say you can have him ride with you in your truck and ride in the carpool lane, right?
this.
just about. And then the
give him a booster seat.
the other thing that I got, and I'm right now debating on opening it because it looks just too pretty in package, and simply because I don't have shelf space to put it on, but I want to mess with it so badly. Hopefully the screen won't glare on it, but I got the Throne of the Primes here. This is the
Japanese.
Takara, the Takara Legends version. Got this from Captured Prey. So, yeah.
Hey, Duran, I got one question.
Yes.
Where do you keep your time machine? Because the rest of us has had this stuff forever.
It
just came out in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just came out like the other day.
Hey, he saved like 75 cents on that. So.
Yeah, a whole 75 cents over the SD receiver. And, that kind of leads us into our main topic of discussion tonight, late to the game. I'm sitting here and I'm showing off, Toy World Constructor, and everybody's like, that's so 2 years ago. Literally. I mean, he came out 2 years ago, and we've had how many different releases of him already? He's like the yellow one, the battle damaged one, it's the clear one. Yeah, there's already been, and there's also a gift set out of these guys. I know several people's been picking up the gift set. These are actually the first release ones that I've got. I had them all on pre-order with Capture Prey, and I've just been picking them up a little at a time, and yeah, it took me 2 years to get it. So the topic was brought up, and I'm going to try to screen share this here, by viewer listener Michael Turner. He posted a few days ago. Says, I just made a purchase last night that inspired an idea for this post, and perhaps a good topic for the show. Better late than never. What figures did you get that the fandom was all aflutter about whenever they first came out, but didn't get them until years later? For me, I just bought the Boostica set for the G2 Fall of Cybertron Combaticons, and I've had them for years. I got them in trade for my Revenge of the Fallen Superion Maximus set. I've always intended to get the upgrade set for them, but other things kept popping up, and eventually the only sets I could find were like $60 to $70, and I wasn't paying that. But just found them on Uncle Billy's shop for $32 with free shipping, so I figured why not? So I bought it. I've been watching some old review videos, and I really can't wait for the set to get here. Anyone else have a better late than never story? And I think this is a good time to really talk about this, because, like I said, I'm just now completing Constructor. And really his hype has really kind of died down. At the time he came out, everybody's like, oh my gosh, look at the detail, look at the size of this thing. Now we've already got 2 complete combiners that's that size, with the Bruticus, the Zeta Toys Bruticus, and the Zeta Toys Superion, which, I still lack 2 members of the Superion. Now, before we go into this, I know a lot of people's going to say, well, if you buy a vintage toy, you know, like if you go back and buy a G1 toy, you're getting it years later. That doesn't count in what we're talking. What we're talking about is something that's relatively recent, or, you know, not a vintage toy, but you get it a few years after it's released. Like this, you know, I mean, it's been 2 years since these guys first came out, and I'm just now finishing it. And I'm all excited about it. I'm like, hey, look at this new toy. And everybody's like, oh, it's 2 years ago. Yeah. But as such, you know, there's some advantages and disadvantages to it. And I like to take advantage of the YouTube and Facebook comments. People can mention their late to the game pickups. We can talk about some of ours. And like I said, the advantages and disadvantages of it. Paul, do you have any late to the game experiences?
I was really racking my brain on this because, like, I follow the releases really closely. Like, you know, like I have the Atmos Convoy already. You know, like I think that striking while the iron is hot is the best thing you can do because I'm always worried that something's gonna go up in value and be too expensive. So. But I am selective on what I get. Like, there's certain characters I never get. So, to me, it's more like I never experience entire molds until, like, I come across a friend that has it. Like for instance, Masterpiece, Ironhide, and Ratchet, or Trax, or Wheeljack. I've actually never owned any of those toys to see how cool they are. And when I see them, it's clearly been years. When I actually, I used to have some coworkers that were also collectors, and they would get stuff, and when we had time, we'd mess around. I'd be like, "Oh, I've actually never seen this in person, and it's been years," and I finally get to mess with it. And
damn it, now I want one.
Well, yeah, but I have to limit what I get, so I still won't get it, but I get to enjoy that that moment of discovery, whether it's late or not. I mean, for me, it was still a great experience. It was fun. So you're not getting a lot of excitement around the fact that you got the constructor toy, but so what? I mean, you're probably loving it, right?
Yeah.
They look like really awesome toys. I've never actually messed with one either, so I'm looking at what I'm like, holy shit.
I just love like the Bone Crusher and the Scavenger, how they did the tread legs and everything. Now, yeah,
that's cool.
Look at this though, and the treads turn. They're fully working treads. That kind of detail is just amazing. You don't have just like the wheels on the bottom and the fake treads. These are actual treads. And the same things like on the Zeta Toys Bruticus, their Brawl has working treads. Although much to his disadvantage in robot mode and combined mode, the treads become rather floppy once you transform because there's really nowhere to go. There's some workarounds for that, but it's one of those things where it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's like, it's a really great feature to have on the toy, but in that particular instance, in that particular use, it's not as great. Now these guys here, the Bone Crusher and the Scavenger, I think Unearth and Bulldozer, I think the unofficial names, these treads are a little more rubberized, and it's just better done. I mean, it's unintrusive. They're not floppy at all, and actually both toys come with replacement treads if one happens to break. So that's actually pretty cool.
I think a lot of people are gonna have this problem, or it's not a problem, just this experience of coming late to the game with Siege, because I see it like every day on Instagram or Twitter. Someone's like, "Oh, I got one of these. I think I'm gonna go all in on Siege now. I wasn't going to," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, because they're the best toys that we've gotten in years. Because Titans Return and Combiner Wars, and especially Power of the Primes, they all had really good things going on, but some people got fatigue.
They had a lot of mold fatigue and a lot of QC issues rife throughout the Prime Wars trilogy toys.
So I guess I think that they were kind of put off and like I'm not buying Chug for a while or I'm done with Generations, but like so they're going to have a cool off period and after a year or so they're going to pick up one of these Siege toys and be like, wow, I missed something. And you know they'll be pretty cheap, so they'll be easy to get back into. And I think a lot of people will probably have that sense of wonder and discovery later than the people later than you guys that were able to snipe them at Walmart.
Yeah, well, and it depends on how cheap they are because for some reason, like you can't buy Combiner Wars stuff at a decent price, like any of it, like on the resale.
It's probably
the times return is like everywhere.
The collectible stuff, like you need them. All the Combaticons are like in a group, so it's like everything was group based, so everything probably is a lot more expensive.
It is tough to get some of that stuff. I was going to say the thing. Oh, sorry, Sean.
Oh, the best thing about the Soundwave though is that head sculpt and the light piping. Like it's like so like G1 Soundwave. It's unreal.
That looks awesome.
The light piping on all of these figures has been great. Like Shockwave has been great. Yeah. I was going to say the thing about Siege is... Oh, sorry, go on.
I like what Sven Michael Mays said on Facebook. Said, dude, pretty cheap. I had to go back and get Combiner Wars. And my God, my ass still hurts. Or wallet.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I would have never thought at the time, when Combiner Wars is going on, that would have happened. But, man, if I would have ordered some of that stuff at the time, I'd be sitting on some pretty
don't be snoozing.
If it's people consolation, if it's any consolation, Sven, in my pile of loot, as it were, my stasis pod at Captured Prey, I still have G2 Menasor, G2 Superion, and what was the one that had like the random characters from Unite Warriors. Not Grand Galvatron. Grand Galvatron. Yeah, it's Grand Galvatron. Yeah, and literally, back in November, I got Unite Warriors Defensor. To replace my Combiner Wars Defensor, I sold in 2016. So, yeah. I feel your pain on the Combiner Wars thing. I've still got some sets I haven't picked up. Oh, and I still have the Unite Warriors Computron on order as well. Well, even though I have the Combiner.
Oh, that's a great.
Oh dear. Here's a tip about that Computron. I've been selling the individual limbs for $50 a piece. I don't know why people are buying them individually, but they are.
Wow.
That's crazy.
They really want Afterbreaker.
I was going to say, the thing about Siege 2 is I really feel like it's kind of like uniting the fan base a little bit because you don't see there are a few, but for the most part, you're not seeing everyone trashing the main line like they normally do. That most of the people, the third party, they'll come out and they might say, this Optimus isn't for me or whatever, but it's still really cool. It's really well done, all that type of thing. So it's kind of nice to see that, that in the fan base.
Now that the battle damage has been done and no one cares because the toys are awesome, we can all enjoy them. The toys are
awesome, but I have to admit the battle damage is pretty sloppy in a lot of instances. And that right there, I don't know.
Yeah. This is a bad They should not have done this to Soundwave. Like they should have made it a sticker or something because people are going to try to remove this with alcohol, and it's going to destroy the plastic. Like if you put alcohol on clear plastic, it'll make it brittle, and it'll just crack, and it'll cloud up. It'll be bad.
Want to get rid of that Decepticon symbol and the gold around it too? So you can't.
It'd be really hard to do it on him.
So what's Sean, what's going on behind you? Is that something to do with Christmas?
That's my PS4. What? Oh, this guy.
Yeah, this KO Werewolf.
How did you? I had you going there at first. You're like, wait, what is that? No, yeah.
I was
Both
very
me and
tempted.
Duran are on. We're on like a hunt for a G1 sealed werewolf, and I'm gonna open mine.
I almost
You got one,
got
right?
one of those. I almost got one of those, but
So
I'm
that's
like,
a KO.
yeah,
Yeah, this is a KO, and the way how you can tell on the KO is the shoulder here. You can go to like highendtfs.com, but the shoulder here is different than the original werewolf. Just right there in that detailing.
I actually
What about
have-
the box? Is a I mean,
And the box, like on the original werewolf, you'll see shadow boxes back here, kind of like these boxes, but there are none on the KO.
Here's a vintage werewolf.
oh, so it's missing that little bar.
Yeah, it's missing that bar inside of it.
Ooh, you guys just taught me something.
And yeah, I mean that's like the main things is there's no shadowy boxes back here on the box. So if you buy a G1 werewolf box, look for the shadowy boxes. And this window is not really attached.
Yeah.
So I mean you should be able to tell.
See, those kind of KOs are like really bum me out because they're made to fool people, you know.
And Monzo, don't buy a KO Monzo. This shows the original Monzo. The KO Monzo,
Straight across.
it's straight across like that.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have the
I
longer
think
piece.
all the KO headmasters are straight across actually.
Yeah,
He-
and
he
then
makes
his
weird
chin
wolves
is
weak.
unpainted. Yeah, his little chin is unpainted, so he has like a white square on his
Soul
or a
patch.
gray square on his chin.
Little soul patch.
Okay, so there's tells, but you gotta.
Yeah, there are tells. You got to know. But
Yeah,
that's something I got that I'm
I actually have
way
one of
behind
the
on.
best players in the game at that, looking for one for me. So,
That is,
huh?
Ratchet.
and who is that? I am Ratchet.
Yeah.
You know what, Duran?
He knows who to call whenever he finds one.
Does it have to be American? Does it? What if it's Japanese? Is that not good?
I told him
That's
I want either one, but I preferably want the American one. But I want both of them actually.
I saw a Japanese one on eBay. I don't remember if it was sealed or not. But it was a box and
The
everything.
Japanese stuff doesn't come with. They weren't ever taped, but you know, because they have like the removable styrofoam and stuff, which some people prefer because you can actually remove them.
Yeah, I saw several Japanese boxed werewolves at BotCons throughout the years, but they were either varying condition, you know, like really beat up, or flat crease, flat crease, yellowed toy. You know, I want them as case fresh as possible.
Yeah,
That's going to be your like centerpiece, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Next to your
like-
Lyle Kaiser.
the reason I want one is because whenever I was like, I think I was 5, I went to the store with one of a family friend, and she bought me a werewolf, and it was my first actual like big transformer, like my first and only transformer as a child. That was like a big transformer. Like I had like the Off-Road Patrol and Bird Brain and Flame Feather, but yeah, that was really cool to get. So that's why I want to get an American one sealed, just to have for nostalgia.
So you guys are friends, but you're competing
Yes.
to find the same very rare bird. So like, how does that?
I haven't won yet, but I have a source that can get me a AFA werewolf, which I kind of just wanted a non-AFA, but I can't pass it up. So I'm after my house sells. That's the first thing I'm gonna buy. Don't tell the wife.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when your wife asks how much that one is, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, it was."
Well, what?
It is $75.
Couple $100.
75.
Y'all. Yeah.
AFA 75. It was $75.
Hey, I'm gonna use that.
Well, that was my next question. What do you actually have a piece? Like you have a lock?
It's AFA 85.
Oh my god! Yeah, that's gonna be not
That's
cheap.
case fresh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
let us-
gonna be nice.
Let us know.
Yep. As soon as I get it, I'll let you guys know. We'll do it on the podcast. We'll do an unboxing. I'll take a hammer and smash the plastic. No, we will not. But I haven't beat you yet, Duranya. You could still win. You can get yours
Yeah.
before I get mine.
Yeah.
Are you looking for an AFA, or are you looking for just a sealed, or
I
what?
would prefer it not be AFA, but if it's AFA graded, that's fine because it's never going to get open. I just showed, I have a complete vintage one loose. So if I want to transform a Weird Wolf, I can transform it. Plus, my girlfriend has a complete vintage loose. There's literally 2 vintage Weird Wolves right here. So I just want one sealed, as minty, fresh as possible. That's not a knockoff.
And that's why I got this, so I could open it up and sticker it and not feel bad.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I came so close to getting, and I may still try to get a knockoff one just to have it, as kind of placeholder. But knowing that it's not real, I had a KO sealed G1 Wheeljack for a while. Even though I had a vintage G1 Wheeljack, I had the KO, and I eventually sold it because, me personally, it's one of those things, knowing that it's a direct KO bothered me, knowing I had it. I know there's some people that it doesn't bother them, but like this right here, a lot of people say, "Oh, these are KOs." No, I'm talking about straight up copy. These aren't copies. These
are meant to fool and deceive.
Yes, and
so,
that's Decepticons.
Yeah, I really, it bothered me. It bothered me. And also, whenever showing off, I would show off my collection. A lot of people would be like, "Oh, wow, you have one sealed." I'm like, "Yeah, it's not real." I didn't like to have that caveat. It's not real.
Yeah, I was kind of the same way. I think, especially when I first got into masterpiece collecting, that I got a lot of those. Those KO masterpieces, and kind of as I built my collection on, it was the same way, Duran, where it's like, I don't really want to be like, yeah, well, that one's not real and that one's not real. So I ended up selling them all off myself.
Still plenty of people that say, I'll just wait for the KO, though. So it takes a village to convert.
And if you are one of those people, more power to you. And we've talked about it here on the show. It's one of those personal preference things. If it doesn't bother you, then that's fine. Me, it bothers me. I'm more of the type of person that if there's a real version of it out, I would rather have that. With the exception of like the Light of Freedom here, I got this mainly for the price thing. I want the anime style Prime, but I don't want to pay $300-400 for one. That doesn't mean I still won't whenever it comes out. It depends on how I'm doing financially at the time, how available it is, and I have a sneaking suspicion that son of a buck is going to get ran to death.
It's going to get wore out.
Yeah. So
I'm not going to make any jokes, but there's not going to be any tread left.
It's like Atmos exclusive MP44.
Well,
I was going to say,
thank God there's still MP10s.
As I say, is he going to get around as much as MP10 has? Because man, I tell you what, he's been around the block.
Sean, you should have waited.
Oh.
Yeah, you should have waited.
Dude, this thing is beautiful. I love the matte
beautiful.
finish.
We're going to do it on microcasters this week.
That's why.
Whenever I repaint stuff, I tend to do matte refinish because somebody turned me on to that, and it was I like the way it turned out. And this is really cool. It's like a matte finish.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything to that toy now.
No.
Yeah. Now you just need an MP36 to go with them.
No.
And he looks amazing standing next to MP36. It's just, yeah.
MP36 is who again?
Megatron.
Megatron.
Oh, yeah. I sold him.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just sold your Megatrons.
Yeah, to some sap.
Yeah.
Well, he probably was late to the game with that Megatron, right?
He was. He was late to the game with that Megatron. And I'm kind of late to the game with this guy and Flipper.
Well,
like I just opened Flipper tonight, and it's pretty cool.
To stay on topic, what constitutes being late? Like 2 weeks?
Being late is like
Lot
off
of
release
freedom.
day, like waiting for like a restock or skipping out totally. Like
No.
I would say that's late.
I would say waiting at least 6 months to a year after it's been released. At least. If you miss out
people
on
who already had Flipper, they're not talking about Flipper anymore, and that's only been like 6 months.
Did I not just say 6 months to
I
a
think
year?
there's actually a knockoff coming out of the Flipper too, right?
Oh no, man! This just dropped and I cracked his glass.
Oh. Be careful. The windshields do push out easily during transformation. So, yeah. His. But anyway,
Don't tell me how to play with my toys.
I was gonna say, Jerron. So my late to the game story is a lot of the third party combiners that were made years ago, the ones that were chug scale. When everyone decided, I'm going full in Masterpiece, I'm selling all those small ones. I started buying up a lot of the third parties. So like the Make Toys Giant, the Make Toys combiners, the Fans Project combiners. I got a lot of those, and I think the original price on those were like $600 or something on those at the time. And I picked them up for $100, $100, 150, something like that, just kind of depending on what it is. So depending on what it is and how popular it is, you can really get a deal. And so, I really enjoyed some of those, the third party. You could really tell, the time Combiner Wars was out. And so you're getting those are absolutely fun to play with and mess with and all that. But then the third party comes in and, the level of paint and the level of detail and the articulation of those figures just really blows away the, anything that Hasbro does.
Yeah. So, what do you think is an advantage of being late to the game? What do you guys think, Paul?
I think in certain instances, like what Lucas was just discussing, you can actually get a deal. I just think it's when it was third party stuff, everyone's in this like upgrade mentality. Like I got to have the best one, or it's just the newest one. So like, if you can wait for the next one to come out and like always be
Hercules.
That thing's garbage now.
TFC Hercules is a great toy. I have to admit, compared to these, he's garbage. But he is a great toy, TFC Hercules. And for the longest time, he was my definitive. What?
Yeah, none of us agree with you. But continue.
He was my definitive Devastator for a long time. So much so that I said I would never sell mine. And then eventually it got to the point where, new hotness, you got these guys come out, and there was other ones that came out later, and his value went from, I gave $100 a piece for each one of those guys, and that's $600. Now you can get one for what, $150, $200 for a whole set, new.
Yeah, about $150.
Yeah. So yeah.
I think it's third party versus official or just specific lines. It's a different game per.
I don't think it really matters, though. Even if it's official, you can.
But you just talked about degrading value in those toys, and earlier in this episode we were talking about inflating value for the Combiner Wars toys, which is, those are conflicting instances.
Well,
I think the difference is the.
No, I don't think it conflicts. I don't think it conflicts at all, because if you have to consider the market as it is. And I'll use an example. The original Classics line, the original Chug, as it began. When the line first came out, they were hot. Everybody wanted them, and then they cooled off a little bit, And then a couple of years later, they went back through another surge, especially when Henkei started coming out, or people started getting turned on to Henkei a little more.
Oh yeah.
The prices on
Henkei. Okay.
Not hentai.
All right. Go ahead.
The prices on Chug stuff started going up. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, like classic Sunstreaker alone, I'm wanting to say he got $70-$80, wasn't it, for a sealed one?
Maybe the Henke one.
Well, I mean, they got up there. The prices got up there on some of them.
I think the Ultra Magnus and Skywarp was a good example of those two.
Mm-hmm.
But that pack from Target was actually pretty expensive because I don't think that they reissued that very often.
Yeah, but now you look at them and most of them can be got for dirt cheap. There's still a few that linger up there in price, but most of them can be dirt cheap. Another example is alternators. Alternators started out. They were pretty hot. They went up in value, and then the plateau fell off on those when the Masterpiece line really took off after MP10. So there's a rise and fall. You have your initial spike in price, and then like the Combiner War stuff. Right now, people is hard and heavy on the Siege, and they want to go back and get the Prime Wars trilogy because either they're just now discovering how awesome some of those toys were, or they're getting turned on by Siege, and they're like, I want more in this line. Hey, look, G1 is getting almost completely redone here. Going back and getting Combiner Wars. Lord help me if somebody wants to go back and get a Combiner Wars Slingshot or a Wild Rider at this point that's sealed. The Mayhem guys, those,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say those are pretty penny guys too.
Yeah, so I'd say that if people are wanting to wait on their figures, I think the Facebook groups are really a really good place to, buy, sell, and trade. I mean, you can do some on the message boards and on eBay as well, but I think that you can get a lot better deals on the Facebook groups, and I think there's a definite supply and demand to all the figures, and that includes Masterpiece as well. I mean, I think that Masterpiece went through a lull for a while, and I think even some of the cars that, you can get those for like $50 on the Facebook groups.
Brand new.
Yeah, brand new. Yeah. Ones that are sealed. And so it really depends on which one it is, though, too, because, there's other, figures that are harder to come by, and those ones are, a lot higher in value. Because everyone wants a Soundwave or a, Megatron or whatever, and then they get reissued by Takara, and then the price drops and all that. So I think that the biggest thing is just to be patient, with that if you're looking for those types of figures, it's always going to get reissued. It's inevitable. It might be 2 years from now. It might be, a few years from now, but someone's either going to make a new version or they're going to reissue it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to miss the reissue.
Yeah, Sven Michael May says, I got Slingshot sealed for $60 at the Toy Mall in Louisville, which I know exactly where he's talking about. About 3 months ago. The most I've ever paid for a deluxe, but it was a deal. That goes to show you, $60 for a deluxe. A Hasbro deluxe at that. I guarantee you, though, you wait another 2-3 more years, and he's going to be probably $20-$30 sealed, at most.
Are we gonna hold on to this prediction?
Hey, it's out. It's out
3
there.
years from now, we can be like, "Hey, it's time to check back in with the old prediction."
It's out there. It's out there. There was an episode I was listening to. I was going back and listening to some old episodes a couple years back, and I listened to an episode. I can't remember exactly when it was recorded, but it was before. It was whenever MP10, I think, had first been shown. We hadn't got MP10 yet. and I'm wanting to say it was Proto Man, Daniel Arsenault. He was whenever he was on the show, he predicted like we're going to be getting like all the Autobot cars. They're going to redo all these guys, and lo and behold, here comes Sideswipe, here comes Prowl, here comes Ironhide, and it's like wow, in a way it was kind of an easy prediction, but at the same time you didn't really know for sure at that point. But yeah.
Well, I remember the day they announced Masterpiece, Sideswipe, and Soundwave, and I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest day in Transformer history. And like it keeps up in the game every
yes, Michael Turner, this is your episode. He just commented, hey, this is my topic suggestion. Yes, it is. Here it is. Boom.
So Paul, is there a figure that could recreate that for you now? Like what figure would it be from Takara to get you to say, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did it?
I mean, I'm not sure if this is 100% on topic, but it's a good question. I mean, if it was, I wouldn't snooze on it if it was like, if I thought that way about it. Probably, I mean, I think a Masterpiece Devastator would be incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like, it's almost like I feel like they've already done it with the Combiner Wars one to an extent. So I don't know what would top it. I mean, they already did Shockwave. Like,
I don't know if they went back and redid the Combiner Wars molds not hollow, and and added some more articulation, and I don't know. I mean, I could see
It would be like a Siege Devastator at that point.
Yeah.
I guess.
And I would be totally happy with that.
I'm still waiting for Piranacon. Can you imagine if they announce a Siege Piranacon?
Oh, that would be
cool.
nice.
That'd
be cool.
I think that stuff will come in generation selects if it's coming, because it doesn't really fit with what they're doing, in Siege. Like they could use old Combiner Wars technology. That would be cool.
Oh,
I mean, I guess I kind of think like
Pepper. Sorry.
It's very difficult to predict, what is going to go up and down. It always has been, but like there's just so much product out right now. It's really hard.
Well, you can't just sit on a figure and expect it to go down, because it may go up. We've talked about this on the show, but getting back to late to the game, that's one advantage of waiting on a toy. Even years later, is getting cheaper, but you also run the risk of getting it more expensive too, paying 2 or 3 times what it originally was. I mean, look at any vintage. A lot of these vintage toys. I mean, there's hardly any G1s you can go back and get for the price that they originally sold for. Outside of maybe jump starters or something like that. But even
dude, I love jump starters. Those things are fun.
I have two. I mean, they're pretty darn mint, and I gave $1 a piece for them. So literally,
and they still work. I mean, they'll roll and flip and land, and that's awesome. I like those.
Yeah, but I mean, what G1? I mean, even the mini bots. Most mini bots were what, $5-6 at most at any store. I'm pretty sure my Swerve. I still have the entire card back for my G1 Swerve that I had. I'm wanting to say I got it at Eckerd drugstores, and I'm wanting to say it was like $3.95 in like 1986. You're not going to get a G1 Swerve for $3.95 unless it's beat all to hell right now. You get a nice minty Swerve. Hell, you can't go and get a reissue Swerve for $3.95. So
no, it's like $7.76.
Yeah.
Yep.
But other disadvantages.
I was going to say that's the biggest thing I think is not being able to find it, or not being able to find it for the price that you want. I know like Fans Toys is really. a big thing with that a lot of their figures from a few years ago were 3 times what you paid for them.
Yeah, I know. There, one guy that, let's see here, the fans toys Perceptor. He's going $200-300 now. So
Wow.
Yeah, I slept on that Fans Toys Stomp because that was during whenever I had one of my big sales, and I sold mostly everything. I had the 3 Dinobots, missing Grimlock and Sludge whenever I sold, but yeah, Sludge actually, Sludge is another important character of mine, so at some point I'm going to try to find him, but I'm waiting for a reissue.
He is the best one, too. If you get any of the Fans Toys Dinobots, Stomp is the one to get, really, in my opinion. And that's my personal narrow tunnel vision opinion. But yeah, if you think about it, availability is another thing, especially if you consider that it was an exclusive. If it was an exclusive, a store exclusive, or just any kind of exclusive. Sometimes you wait, say, well, I'll see if I can get it secondhand. I might pay a little bit more, but it's like I would love to have an Eva. Hello. Well.
Shoot, there was an announced reissue.
My Skype crashed.
There he is.
Hey.
And why is my...
You survived Third Impact. Good.
Yes.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
You've been detanged.
Yeah.
So you would love a Ava Prime, but
I would love to have an Eva Prime, but it's one, out of price range, and 2, where am I going to find one that's new now?
Well, actually, if I think of a toy, I mean, it's MP10, so it's not like very. I've definitely touched it before. I did not buy MP10 right away. I was like, this is too expensive. I don't like it. I like the old version. Why are they doing this? And then a friend of mine, a colleague, who's an artist, just told me, hey, I got this new toy. It's awesome. You have to check it out. So, I got a personal recommendation to get it. This was months later, and I was like, oh, really? Is it that good? And then it had gotten very expensive. So I waited until they reissued it that first time, and I ended up getting a second version of it. So it was maybe a year later. Mm-hmm. And so when Ava Prime came out, that was something I was able to get a hold of one of them, but not a second one. So I never opened it. And I had one on order at TF Source, and their weird story, their shipment fell in the... I actually talked to Kurt and I asked him, what the hell happened with my Ava Prime? And he told me that they fell off the boat or something. I don't know.
I buy that.
Really?
And so 2 years later, I didn't ever make him refund me or anything. I was like, just in case you ever find it in your escapades across Japan. 2 years later, he found one, and he gave it to me for the pre-order price. And he did this. He found a cache of them, and a bunch of his customers he was able to hook up that had tried it, that were whoever succumbed to this problem that they had. He was able to get them. So that I finally got one, and I opened it, and that was way after it came out. So, God, it just felt so good. I didn't care that it was old. I didn't care that other people had already posted their photos and stuff. I was just happy to have both of those MP10s, just to kind of see what all the hullabaloo had been about. But also, this was a long time ago. I'm not even sure Instagram was as big of a deal back when MP10 first came out.
Yeah. I lucked into my MP10. That's whenever I first got back into Transformers, and I was watching Prime, and I was kind of checking out Transformers and buying Prime figures, and I went to Toys R Us, and they had literally 6 cases of MP10 up on the rafters up top.
The long one.
Yeah, the long box. I think it was 2 to a box or 3 to a box. They had like 6 cases, and they had like 4 on the shelf below. So I picked up the best of the 4, and it sat there on my shelf at my little makeshift collection display that I started out with, and it sat there for 6 to 8 months before I actually opened them. I was just getting back into collecting, so I'm like, I gotta leave everything sealed. But then, after 6 months of collecting Transformers, I'm like, these things are too cool to leave in the box. So I opened them. And I haven't looked back since, and it was awesome.
Yeah, MP10 was another one that I was late to the game with myself, and I actually had to get the Year of the Horse version for a while as my stand-in because
that's like having GoBots as a kid. I had a ton of GoBots. Okay, so it's not a knock. We didn't have a lot.
It was rough. It was rough. So yeah, no, I had to. When they announced the reissue with the Hasbro Asia reissue, I was all about it. I was pretty excited to finally get it.
Yeah,
I had the first the Toys R Us Hasbro MP10, and I was forced to have to sell it. And then whenever I was getting more masterpieces, I'm like, man, I wish I could get an MP10, but he was like way up there, and you couldn't get any. And then they announced that Hasbro Asia reissue, and I'm like, yes, and boom, Same thing happened with my my Metroplex, my Titan Metroplex. A couple years ago, I had some medical issues, and I was out of work for over a month, and I had to sell some stuff to pay bills and eat. And my Titan Metroplex was one of those that I had to sell. I didn't want to, but I had to. And I'm like, man, I'll never get one of those for a decent price anymore, because they were well over $200. $300 in some places if you get one sealed. And then they announced the LG EX version, and I'm like, pre-order. Yes, it's still $200 and some odd dollars, but it's like got the chrome and all that stuff too.
Oh, so that toy is awesome.
Yeah,
that's the best one.
I haven't picked it up yet. It's going to be another late to the game, but it's in my stash.
Well, you're going to be very excited when you open that one. Yeah. Well, speaking of this late to the game thing, what advice would each of you have for like people that are thinking about MP44 right now? Would you say wait, or would you say jump? Or what would you say?
That's a tall cliff to leap off of. That's like $400, and that's. I mean, you can buy a PS4 for $400, and you can have hours and hours of enjoyment. Whereas, like MP44, you might transform it once and it breaks and you're screwed, or you might, transform it, or not even transform it, sit it on your shelf and just glance at it every now and again. But 400 is kind of a hard sell for, depends on what kind of enjoyment you're going to get out of it, So for me, I'm gonna wait for a long time on that.
My advice personally is if you can get it at the discounted Japanese price, that was around like $330 or something like that, 300, somewhere around there. That I would do it at that price, but otherwise, I personally would wait, because they're going to reissue him, and typically the way I know, at least with MP10, I think it was.
Hasbro's going to get their hands on it too. It's going to have a domestic release.
Well, it is. It's going to be MP44 in a black box.
Yeah.
Which is I asked Ben Montano about that, and that's how it's happening.
But it's going to be $400 over here too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
It is,
and it's going to be a Toys R Us exclusive.
They're releasing the thing. The reason on Hasbro Pulse, they haven't listed MP44 yet, but when they listed Bumblebee, it's the same price as it is like in Japan. That's the way they're doing it now. They're not gonna. It's not gonna be like back in the day with Toys R Us, where they had like their own unique, package and everything. It's part of that brand unity thing. So there's not going to be like, unless there is a Japanese version that doesn't have the trailer and is half the price There's not going to be a U.S. one that's the same.
But it does seem though when they reissue the figures, at least what they had done with the prior Masterpiece, it seemed like they're a little bit cheaper. Like I know when they reissued Starscream and Soundwave a couple years ago, that it was a little bit less. So or there's going to be somebody that needs rent money and is going to have to sell
or needs to fix a Datsun or.
Yeah, exactly. Happens. Yeah, just wait for Sean to sell it in a year, right?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
That's the whole reason. Like I said earlier, it's one of the reasons why I bought this is because, if I determine that I'm happy enough with this, even though it's got some inaccuracies. And let's face it, the MP44 is going to have some inaccuracies too. I already can tell you one, the back of the damn cab. That thing is a mess from what we've seen in the pictures. But this thing here, for what it is and what it does, I don't care that it doesn't come with a trailer. I don't care that it doesn't have all the bells and whistles MP44 will have. And like Bobby Skullface says, I'm sure the MP44 will be a far superior toy to this. But whenever you compare the price for what you're getting, in which I got an anime accurate Optimus Prime in Masterpiece form for just over $100, as opposed to $300-400. If I sat here when MP44 is ultimately released, I won't care if I'm late to the game because I probably won't be in the game at all for that. And I think a lot of fans are in that mindset. They're getting priced out of the hobby, and we've talked about this ad nauseum since the MP44 first was announced and the price was given. Everybody's been up in arms over it. So I don't want to rehash everything that we've said so far. Yeah, those are amazing.
He has pistons in the knees.
Yeah,
like in the old one.
I don't want to rehash everything that we've said about it, but it's just something that this fandom. I think it's a crossroads that we've come to in our hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately with third party, we do have some alternatives out there. If there was no third party, all we would have is, I guess I have to pay the $400 if I want that particular character in that particular format. And not all of us can afford that. I think this is way more affordable for people on a budget. I understand there's still some people that won't be able to afford this. And I understand that. I fully get that. But, if you can, this is your MP44 right here.
But I think, speaking with late to the game, though, I'm betting that around the time that MP44 releases, which I think is in August, that if you're looking for one of these alternative versions, such as MP10 or such as these guys, that they may be old hat at the time, but I bet people are going to be selling those versions in order to help finance MP44. So I would definitely look at if you want a representation and you don't care and you don't care that it's an older figure or whatever, to look for that, because I guarantee there's going to be some people doing that.
It'll be a bloodbath of MP10s.
Be quite the surge.
Or a surge.
Or a sun surge.
Oh gosh,
Yep.
Yeah, whenever Sunstreaker was announced, and then it was like fire sale.
Yeah.
I think that's happened many times with many different toys. We can go all night with that. So, there's been some great comments on our YouTube comments and now Facebook, now that's once it got finally running. Um, you know, I think a lot of fans can relate to being late to the game. Everybody has done it at least once or twice. Some people more often than not. Like me. Um, I have a specific amount that I'm willing to spend in a specific amount of time. Like if I spend more than $300 a month on toys, I felt like I've done something wrong. Unless it's like a really special event, like if I'm going to get like a gift set or a vintage toy that's really hard to come by. I, I'll let that slide. But if I nickel and dime myself over $300 a month, I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the mode now, like I've said before, I'm in the mode now where I want to enjoy other things, not just toys, and I'm wanting to start putting more money toward those things, and so I'm going to be late to the game because I'm going to be spacing out my purchases, and I've been doing that for the last 2 or 3 years now, but I'm doing it even more so now. Yeah, and thanks for showing us cat's butt there. Say hello to my little Frank,
Mr. Stinky.
But everybody can relate to this. It's not something that is totally foreign. It's like, well, I get everything as it comes out. How many collectors do that? In all honesty,
I mean, you can try, but it hurts.
It'll kill you.
Storage space and money.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being late. No. That's the thing. Like, I don't think there is such a thing as being too late to buy a toy you want to get. That's just preposterous. Give it time, and it is work to find these things after they're readily available if there's a price you won't go above. It's work. You have to go looking for it, and sometimes that can cost you more time than it would have cost just to buy it. So it's like everyone has to work that out for themselves.
Yeah. It's always a gamble. You could be getting, quite the deal. Like if you waited on alternators for 15 years, you get quite the deal right now. But do you want to wait those 15 years or do you want to get it early? So,
I mean, how many people are that interested in them? The reason they're so low is because the interest level is low. So there might be like 2 people that didn't get them that are like, oh, let me check this out. That's why they're low, because no one wants them.
Yep. I gambled on Metroplex, and here I sit with no Metroplex.
How long is STCC Hot Rod, the alternators Hot Rod, the Mirage Redeco, has been on BBTS in their sale listings for a long time. You can still go get it right now. I don't know how many they have left.
Well, you can't find a Vinyltech Black Convoy. I'll tell you that. That one is still valuable.
There are.
But one thing though with collecting is I actually think it's sometimes more interesting to wait and have to hunt down that toy, because a lot of us, it's like if you can just sit there and click and buy it easily online, or on eBay or whatever. I mean, that's not really that interesting. But I do think sometimes when you wait and all that, like actually being able to find the toy in the condition that you want and all that, it is something that is actually kind of exciting, and be able to, to go to conventions or whatever and find something. So I think there's something to be said with that.
Yeah. I mean, I waited on Boba Fett because I didn't want to pay the $70. So I know it's unrelated, but $19.90 whatever at Walmart, you can get a Boba Fett Black Series. So yeah, I waited.
Yeah. Well, you guys have any closing thoughts, or have we already done that?
That's our closing thoughts.
Yeah. Closing thoughts. All right. As I said at the top of the show, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/TFYLP. Become a supporter. And not only do you benefit us and helping us grow and continue to better this show, but you also get a new benefit and an added show At least a couple of them a month. Last month we was able to do one, I think, each week. That won't always be realistic, but we're at least going to get a couple of them out a month. I will say that this coming Wednesday there is one scheduled to drop. We've already recorded it. Headmaster Don actually makes his after hours debut, so that was fun, and and it's a fun time, and it's like Paul said at the top of the show, it's a very laid back, even more laid back than what we're doing right now version of TFYLP. It's TFYLP After Hours, only available to our Patreon subscribers.
Mm-hmm. Can I say something about that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you've listened to 3 episodes of TFYLP, why are you not a patron?
All it takes is
we could be doing like trim work or hanging out in the bathroom.
Why don't you if you're listening to this, is an hour and a half the time that we spent like jabbering for you to have fun? Like, it's probably worth $1 a month, don't you think?
At least $1,
just
$5,
$100.
Yeah, whatever you can afford. But as long as you're a supporter, you will continue to get the TFYLP After Hours show. And I'm going to toss it over to the guy to my left and let him pimp our other show that we have going.
So our other show, which I won't be on, actually Ron's going to be on this week, is TFYLP Microcasters. That is Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. And we typically are doing a toy review with that. So we try to focus on, cheaper figures and mainline, but this week we're going to do a little bit more expensive figure with the Magic Square Light of Freedom that we've all gotten in. So I believe Duran and Dawn and Anna are all going to be, showing off their figures and what they think of them this week. So
absolutely, we'll give it a rundown and tell everybody what we think about it. Positives and negatives. And I will say, I will have some negative things to say about the Light of Freedom. Is as much as I love the toy, there are some negatives about it. And I don't know what happened to Paul's video, but it got like really, really pixelated.
I see him.
I haven't changed anything.
Hey, what was that you were holding up?
Oh, those were secret items.
Those look good.
I did want to add one more thing to go ahead and follow our TF Talk page because I am going to. The reason I'm not going to be on the show this week
TF Talk on our Facebook page.
I'm going to TFCon, and so like our TF Talk page, because I'll be providing live coverage of reveals at from the show as well. So.
Make sure you test out the live video because I couldn't get it to work at Toy Fair for some reason.
I may, I think with a lot of it, I'll probably be doing mainly pictures and then recorded video that I'll upload later. Okay. Just because, like you said, the Wi-Fi is spotty. The Marriott, it may be good there, but who knows?
And as an addendum to our Ouch My Wallet, I saw people getting Snarl at the Universal Studios Snarl at Ross. Huh. So I just happened to stop by just thinking, I probably won't find him. Dude, he was sitting right there on the peg.
Crazy.
Wow.
And he was actually one that I like this Transformer. He's nice. So
way to be late to the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of the wrists, I thought it was a good toy. The robot wrists are really cheap on that thing.
These actually have wrists. The swoop, but not swoop. The strafe. Yeah. He was always stuck with the gorilla arm. So
one there, the back of the Dino fist. I mean, they're really weird. I wasn't crazy about those.
Yeah, they are at a weird angle.
Outside of that, though, I thought he was a decent toy.
Yeah,
I like that Deco. I think it's so weird that they just did him.
Absolutely. Yeah, and he's not part of the Universal Studios ride.
No.
So it's that's why I got evac, because he was, and yeah, it brings back good memories. It was awesome. We went off season and we rode it like 4 times without a line. It was right there around like the Halloween scare thing. I know we got a wrap, so that's all.
All right, guys. Check out TFYLP After Hours as our Patreon exclusive, and TFYLP Microcasters Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, live on Facebook, and you can also download it on iTunes or directly from the tftalk.net website. Just click on TFYLP Microcasters on tftalk.net, and it will take you to past episodes, and you can download the full video for each episode. You also had a really good interview with Spencer Wilson of Moss Toys. Highly controversial in many aspects, but I still thought it was a very good interview, and people are still talking about it, actually. So
he's the one. They did the Tetrajets.
Mm-hmm.
The Kickstarter?
Well, they didn't do it yet.
Okay.
That was we're there's a lot of information in the interview about what the current status is on the Tetrajets, but yeah.
And that interview, it went rather long, but with it being a special interview, that's one thing. But normally my Microcasters is 30 to 45 minutes at most, but usually it's about 30 minutes ish. That's what we shoot for. But check out those shows, and we will see you next time on TFYLP. Again, not this weekend, but next. Check out TFTalk.net's Facebook page, as Lucas will be updating us from the TFCon LA show. Lots of news and stuff on there. So
Godspeed, Lucas.
Safe journeys. All right, I'll see you guys live this Tuesday night on Microcasters, and see you next week. TFYLP. Good night, everybody.
I am not Optimus Prime.
He's not.